All right, 7 quick tips for PowerPoint. Let's go. Tip number 1. You know how sometimes you're on a slide like this and you want to do something like make this company name pop up a bit more. So naturally you go to it, you increase the font, and it looks cool, but now it's getting outside of its circle. So what if we wanted to emphasize that? Like, one of the things you can do is, kind of make this an ellipse. We'll still cover everything, but I don't want to do that. Let's say I want to have this circle stay here, but I want to have a rectangle that will kind of encapsulate the text box. So I can go ahead and basically make a rectangle here that will kind of cover it. But as soon as I do that, you'll see that it covers the other thing. So naturally what you would do is select the text box and the circle, cut them, paste them on top of it, and Bob's your uncle. But there is a much easier way to do this, and especially if you have a lot more elements on the page, you can do it much easier by just opening the Arrange drop-down and going to the selection pane. This will basically give you a full view of all of the elements that are currently on the slide. And now you can rearrange them, you can rename them, you can hide certain elements, and so on and so on. And it's pretty much one of the most powerful and well-kept secrets of PowerPoint. So I can just get our new rectangle, drag it underneath the other oval, and what we have now is an encapsulating element. Pretty powerful. Next one. Let's say you have a bunch of different slides and you want to make sure that the titles stay aligned perfectly across them. How do you go about it? Well, let's take a look at this one right here. And we see that we have this title here, Competitor Matrix. And let's say we want to copy that slide and we want to change this to now Partners Matrix, right? Cool. Now, if we switch between the two, you will see that there is a difference in the alignment of the P and the C, right? So how can we make sure that they're pretty much aligned perfectly? It's quite easy, actually. You see those dotted lines that we have here? Those are called guides, and you can use them to have pretty much the same design and alignment across your slides for different text boxes, bullet lists, whatever you're going to use. So if we want to make sure that everything is aligned perfectly, I can just click on this existing guide. I can add a new vertical one, and I can position it right next to the P here. I can then try and maneuver our text exactly on those lines so that when I go to the next one, I can do the exact same thing and they'll both be perfect on that guidelines. Easy as that. Something I like to do is basically have a guide grid that's basically based on the rule of thirds. I usually eyeball it, but there are actual values that you can follow. And when you do that, you can make sure that you put stuff either on the intersection points, like here, 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 and here. It's more visually pleasing, or on one of those lines. It's very powerful, and you can basically use this to have unified design across the different slides that you'll have in a presentation. Use it. Another very powerful way you can use PowerPoint is by hiding slides. And I know this sounds controversial, but let's examine a couple of scenarios. Let's say that you're delivering a presentation on a solutions that you build, and you're delivering this in a mixed crowd. There are going to be people from every tier of the company that you're pitching to, and you're not sure that you're going to need a tech stack slide like this one, but you still want to have it handy in case you see on the presentation itself, based on questions, interactions, that the audience is actually interested in that. So what I normally would do is just hide the slides, and that would mean that when I run this presentation normally, like let's go into slide show mode, that slide will not be shown, right? If I click next, you will just move to the slide afterwards. But if I see that the audience is actually looking for this particular slide, I can just click on it and we'll go to the tech stack. So we can examine everything that has been done there. Extremely powerful. It's very useful if you want to keep a couple of different slides handy, Like in my day-to-day, I usually use this with a bunch of case studies that I have in my back pocket in case something comes up during a pitch. I can basically, open the particular case study and present that. Another very useful way that you can use hiding slides is if you're presenting from a single screen, which I strongly advise against, but sometimes you just need to do it, is to add blank slides in your slide selection pane here, so the audience doesn't look ahead in your presentation. So for example, if I'm gonna switch off at a certain point for a demo, let's say after this one, like I don't want them to know that the next thing that we're gonna show is around architecture, so I can just go here and let's say just duplicate that slide, I don't know how many times until the next one is hidden, and then I can just hide all of those, right? They'll still be there. They don't serve any purpose. They won't be shown in the actual slides when you're in presenter mode, so it's fine. And then if you need to switch from PowerPoint to something else, the audience won't be able to see what's coming. One very powerful tool you can use within PowerPoint is the sections. This is a way to organize your slides in different modules for a presentation that will help you keep track of them easily, and it will keep you much more organized. This can help you be much more responsive in a live scenario where you need to find a certain slide, so you don't have to just scroll through all of the ones that you have. You can basically just go to the section that you're interested in and find the slide there. It's very easy to do. You basically just click somewhere on the slide management pane here and you hit that section and you can add a new one there. I use it to keep my slides organized in different logical modules that can help me be a bit more effective when I'm building the presentation, and I can keep track of them easily on a live session. Did you know that on top of all the usual shapes that you can add in a slide, all of the default ones, you have something a bit more advanced. Like if you wanted to, let's say, build a cloud, normally you would go with shapes and kind of, compose them all together, kind of make it that cloud-like thingy. Well, you can go to the insert section here and you have an icons thing here. If you click on that, you have access to a bunch of stock images available for free, where you can even search for what you're looking for, let's say cloud, and I can pick the one that I want, insert it on the slide, and it's basically a vector image that you can resize. It's very high quality and you can make it fit your presentation perfectly. There are other paid options that are much prettier and beautiful than the out-of-the-box ones, but these will save you in a pinch if you need to build some kind of a visual representation of something. When we build slide decks, normally we follow a style guideline, right? In this particular case that we are looking here, this whole presentation has that yellow kind of accent vibe everywhere, like the yellow text. If we move down, all of the icons are kind of yellow, accent here, accent there. And when you add an image that's not really corresponding to this particular visual design, it can be very distracting and it can stick up like a sore thumb on your slides. So how can you easily make sure that the images that you're using are actually fitting the style that you have within the slides? Well, in PowerPoint, you can easily do that by just, let's say, adding a picture. Let's say this one. And let's say we want to show it just on the side here. Now you can immediately see this image doesn't fit the style that we have here, right? So how do we make sure that it fits perfectly? There is a very easy way to do this without even going to other software like Photoshop, something else that can help you, color correct this image to fit the scenario that we have here. It's basically the dumbest thing you can think of, but you can just add a rectangle on top of it, remove the outline, and then if you click on format shape, you can add transparency to the background, let's say 70%, something like that. And now this image fits the actual style of the slide deck. Like if we move to the next one, it's pretty much the same thing. If we come here, it's still the same thing. Easy as that. Okay, last tip. You know that style where you're basically delivering a presentation, sharing the slide deck, and there's that small circle in the bottom of the screen showing yourself, similar to what I'm doing with this video? Yeah, you can do that with PowerPoint easily without using any additional editing software. You just go to Insert and you can add a Cameo. And if you click on that, you'll basically be able to pick the shape, whether it's a circle, whether it's rectangular or whatever. You can add hexagons. It's up to you. But essentially, you can add that there. You can select the camera that you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use my FaceTime camera. And when I do this in slideshow mode, when I start to present, you will see that I am here. Hi. See? Perfect. Any slide that you want to see yourself in, you can just add that cameo. Easy as that. Right? Those were my 7 quick tips for PowerPoint that can help bring your slide deck to the next level. Till the next one, go close them.